What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36, and this is Big Games BS brought to you by Den Media Group, presented by Alpha Male Jacks. So we got that thing on hand. We could just play the Alpha Male Jacks commercial. Probably should just start off the show, like let people know that if your dick's not working, you should go to Alpha Male Jacks. There's more to it than that. I'll let Christina explain to you guys a little bit about. Is that Jacks practice?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's before Jags practice, I think. I mean, after Jags practice, excuse me. It was a more recent download. Yeah, right there. We go. Now, listen to Christina. Everyone. This is Christina, who I'm always talking about with Alpha Male Jacks. Go to alphamaleJacks.com, and you get a chance to work where the football season is coming up. So I know I'm going to be super busy, and a lot of people who listen to me are super busy. Do I have to come in here, or are there ways that we can be able to utilize the services and not just have to show up?
Okay, so as long as you live in Florida, you don't have to physically come in here. We have for telehealth, so we can do telehealth, and we also have a contract with LabCorp. So if you're close to a LabCorp, we do free labs for all men over 30, and we can have you go to a LabCorp and do a telehealth, and I can get you all set up without ever having to come in here. But you're welcome to come in here too. I'd love to see you in person.
With some of the labs, what are the things that we're kind of looking for in those labs?
Okay, so we're looking for overall wellness. So we're going to do a wellness panel on you. We're going to look at your red blood cell count, your white blood cell count, your cholesterol, your prostate, and also all your hormones. So we do a general male panel lab, and we just get a holistic look at everything and just make sure about your general health, and then also specifically your.
That's what she said.
Oh, we ended like right in the middle of the day. I always forget. I gotta ask them. We gotta do better than that. But that's okay. Ooh, hold on, this Hoochie Daddy Short short. I found out. So we got new season. Hoochie Daddy Short season goes all the way up until October 1st, and then October 1st we shift to gray sweatpants season. Gray sweatpants season is one of my favorite times of year because gray sweatpants are very comfortable, and I like wearing them. And I have a full assortment of gray sweatpants. And if you don't feel comfortable wearing gray sweatpants, you need to go to alphamaleJacks.com. AlphamaleJacks.com will help you check your blood levels, see what's going on, see if everything is operating at your peak potential. You know what? I don't know if it's not the filter. It is amazing. This hasn't always been true. Can't be. Because the hairlines were egregious in the 80s. If you look at that Bobby Womack, the male relationship with his barber in today's age is a cheat code. It's the beard. That's what I'm sitting here. For those who don't know, I'm looking at myself in the camera right now. And normally I can see it a little bit at Goodfellas, but I just got a great tape. Shout out to my guy T-Wig. I could do all things through Amp Wiggins, who tapes my beard. Like that's in the Bible somewhere. Like it just makes you feel. I just feel like a different person, man. Like you can actually like see my eyes. I feel like before the hair is all the way up to here. It's not consistent like Rick Ross. It's just like straining and hair comes out of everywhere. So like, but anyways though, what up, Fire Medic? Shout out to you. I'm glad the bell finally worked. Glad you're on here live. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. So we can get more people on here. Not trying to do a night show. It's just like we really just didn't. Me and Miles weren't able to get our schedules together, and I just had a hectic day. Had meetings with the Army. Had meetings with that went way long. Army is one of those things that just hurry up and wait. And then had a little bit of downtime, and then we had a senior banquet or senior meal with the team that I coach Mandarin, and I had to hang out with the guys and it was a lot of kumbaya shit, a lot of love. I love you, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that this is fake, but that shit just happens. But long story short, this is brought to you by Alpha Mel Jackson. Not inside of Goodfellas, Good Cigar Lounge. We'll go to Goodfellas. If you become an all-in member, you get to become a part of Goodfellas. You have a membership that's part of your all-in membership. But if we can go back, we did the book bag drive, so you're gonna see things kind of drop like more this week from the book bag drives as we get our edits coming up. But this is basically like a highlight of what happened at the first at the book bag drive here in Jacksonville. So we fed about we gave away 2,000 book bags. We fed about 1,000 people or so, a little bit over, and then our football camp had right at close to 100. But if you guys want to know what it looked like, we were in the hood. I love shutting down the hood. It's one of those cool things. That's the tailgate. There it is. All right, so we're going. You really need this. I just thought about it. That's cool. Let the people who are here enjoy the music. DJ Soldier. There's all my events here. These girls right here were so cool, man. It was getting after it too, man. This is one of my son's teammates. Shout out to UCAA. Let's try to say their name right. That was my guy who you just saw. At J Davis Empire on IG. You see Bobby Brown right there. All right, so that was it. Basically, my bad. Polka. No, those are the girls. Shout out to them. He actually brought up a good point. Tomorrow, I may do a show. Me and Trey may do a special show before we do sporadics because Florida State will be in Jacksonville, and we will be taking in practice. Trey is by birth an all-in member. Everybody keeps asking me, "Hey, James, I heard the practices are closed." You know the practices aren't closed too? All-in members of the Den Media Group, because you would be going as my guest. But if you're not an all-in member, guess where you can't go? You can't go to practice. So all you people who keep asking me all these questions, like, is Jared Verse injured? Is this person injured? You would be able to go see for your goddamn self if you would go do this. And my man Jay brought up, he was like, hey, if I was an all-in member, would I get to go to practice? I'm like, damn, now that you mention it, yes, that would be one of the perks. You get to go to, if I'm at practice, you say you want to come to practice, let's go to practice. I'll go take you to practice. During the season, I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna get if you're an all-in member. I am going to have a couple of those sideline passes, pregame sideline passes at Florida State. So if you want to go, if you've never been on the sideline to go see the warm-ups and see all those different things, you will get to be able to come as my guest to be able to go walk around, see your favorite players at Florida State, be able to warm up, and it's a pretty cool experience. But you got to go check out our member section, go do all of that stuff. We need to get our membership up to over 100 anyway. We have them starting from $3.99 all the way up to $99.99, which is the all-in membership. Different levels of thing. Members will be, I'll be doing drawings, which if right now, if we only keep it certain, I might just say, hey, pick a game that you want to go to right now. Members, you get to pick it. Or who wants to go to Southern Miss? And I'll take those guys, and some of them may even be able to get varsity club. One person I could be able to make sure you get to go to the varsity club, which the varsity club is only for athletes. So you could get to come in as my guest, and then we have the Champions Club, and I may be able to get you Champions Club tickets as well. So those are things that I'm going to do for my members, as well as hotel hookups. But the number one goal right now is to get to 3,000 subscribers. We are at 2,308. We're getting close. Once we get to 3,000, I'm giving away 2 tickets to the LSU FSU football game. We get to 5,000 somehow, I'll give away 4 tickets. But if you can't do that and you're not worried about tickets, make sure you check out the tailgate. The tailgate to end all tailgates. It's not a chicken tender BLT dip tailgate. This is a tailgate that is that's legit and that's lit. And so click on the Spanish guy. This is just funny. I always post this because even though my man Nick told me we didn't have cheese, Cheese didn't have cheese at the tailgate, and that's a pet peeve of mine because I don't like cookout. I don't like grilled burgers without cheese. I need cheese and tomato, along with my condiments on at my tailgate. So we're gonna make sure we have that corrected. But paying $60 for hamburgers and hot dogs is a no-go. We got ribs, chicken, seafood, all that.
I'm tired of coming to fucking barbecues. There's mad burgers, hot dogs, peppers, everything. There's no fucking cheese for the burgers? What y'all doing, son? I'm dead tired of this shit. What you laughing at, boy? Oh, hold on. Let me tell you something. Hold on. Yo, what the fuck?
This is how I'd be if I had no cheese on my burger.
There's no cheese?
He's probably a
Son,
Spanish
hold on.
family. Actually, you have seen him.
I'm
Every
tired of
Spanish
coming to
family
fucking
has 5 of
barbecues.
these.
There's mad burgers, hot
Puerto
dogs,
Rican,
peppers,
Dominican,
everything.
no
There's
matter
no
what it
fucking
is,
cheese
like
for the burgers?
they all have this
What
guy's
y'all doing, son?
Stockholm
I'm dead
photo.
tired of this shit.
Spanish guy.
What you laughing at, boy? Oh, hold on. Let me tell you something. Hold on.
That's it. But check out the tailgate. Then our tailgates right now. We got a good amount of people signing up right now. I just had my boy Grady Ross just sign up, saying that he's going to be at the tailgate and bringing some people. We got P-Dub is always. P-Dub said he's coming. Lamont Green's coming. All these things. Aaron Doc had made a post saying that she needed a tailgate to go to, and y'all know Doc. That's my homegirl. Doc's my girl. Like she's gonna come through. But this is basically, if you haven't been to one of my tailgates, if you're looking for love, you may be able to find it. If you're if you have the love of your life, your love life will be strengthened. And if it's not a strong relationship, you may be oh, there we go. Appreciate it, Ethan. If you don't have if your love of your life isn't strong, she might be pushing out, though. I'm sorry. But this is basically how me and the Dope Boys approach every tailgate. So one of my favorite people, I know women love to put this Russ versus Future thing. I don't really like Russ, but it's not because I just think he's corny. I don't dislike him. I just don't really like him. I'm a Future fan. I like his music. I don't really know him personally, but he seems like an okay guy to me. But basically, this is how the mindset has to be. Listen, Saturday, Sunday, if it's your girl and she's by herself, then just realize she belongs to the street until 8 a.m. Monday, because this is our mating call.
Tell her, whoever she is, I love her already. Tell her, whoever she is, I love her already.
8 a.m., she could be yours. 8 a.m. Monday, she could be yours again. So that's basically us with the housekeeping. Now let's get into the meat of things. Today's show. Oh, just what I did. So while we had to record our show on Sunday night, I was in Miami for a funeral. You can click on any of those. Like my godbrother Andre 7 years ago laid Big Dre to rest. His father died, and then he had to handle all of those things. And his mother, Jeanette, had MS. Andre is the only person that I've known my entire life. I think I posted a picture. I don't know if it's in that, but actually you can find a baby picture of us in these things. We'll go back to that. Get back to that. Like, this is me and Andre. Basically, we were friends the whole time, and that's us. I believe we were in Pocahorn Village. So, like, when people say like they know about FAMU, like literally, we were born on FAMU's campus, and that's us as infants or whatever. We got diapers on, so obviously we weren't grown. But I went there to go. My brother had to bury his mother, so like he's buried his father. She was in pain. Beautiful woman, Jeanette. You can go push back to one of the pictures. You can see the program of it. But one thing I learned is that there are funny things in funerals, and obviously, if you're looking at this, the symbol like right in the middle of the page is Alpha Kappa Alpha. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the original Black female sorority, part of the Divine Nine. My mother is one. Jeanette was one. A lot of the women in my life are AKAs. And what happened was AKAs, Shriners, all of the mystic, all the Illuminati groups have these fucking rituals. And what I learned is church and death are like people just do things and you don't know why you do things. And she's Catholic too. So like it was crazy. Miles, you grew up Catholic. Like they just fucking stand up. Nobody knows why. Like there's like if you're a stranger in the church, nobody like there's like they can at least have a sign stand. It's like and everybody stands up and then you're like, oh my God, let me stand up, and then they start having all praise you, all blessings flow. I'm like, what? I don't know the word. How does everybody know the words of this song? And people are just humming, but like anyway, so that wasn't the wild part. Actually, the wildest part is in the Catholic ceremony is, especially the African ones. Man, I tell you what, they waste about 3 bottles of holy water on the day. Like my man pulled out a squeeze bottle of holy water when they were lowering the casket. He was like so I finally saw Django.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was like with the holy water. He took it out of the side of his pocket, flipped that bad boy, pow, pow, pow. Like the devil was he was going to water the hell out of the devil with that. So my godmother has no worries of demons on her because all the holy water in Miami-Dade County was squirted on her. Apparently, smoke wards away the demons.
That's what I was going to ask. Did they pull out the incense?
Man, I was wondering. I'm like, it smells like this place is burning down.
Yeah.
And there was just, and it was just, and then he took this thing and was like whipping it on the casket. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm like, why? What is going on? Why is he whipping her? Like she's dead already.
It's tradition.
So again, it's like we don't know why we do these things, why we do what we do. None of it makes sense, but it was funny. But that's not what was the funniest part. So 3 to 6 p.m. was the viewing of the Bible. I'm not going at 3 to 6. I love my God, but I'm tired of flu. So I went, took a nap. That's actually the first time I tried to watch Django. Was on Monday. But then I took the Uber, hopped the Uber to the crib. I mean to the place where the viewing was. Miami, everybody's like, if you don't speak, like, try that in a small town. People can't go to Miami because it's hell for people who live in like small rural country towns. Everybody fucking speaks Spanish. Like you're gonna want to build a wall, and I'm telling you, I get it. Why people want to build walls? Shit was annoying. I don't understand what anybody's saying, but whatever. My man just drops me off in the middle of the fucking neighborhood. I don't know where I'm at. He's like, okay, see you, papi. And then we had a cologne off. So I had on some cologne, and then his cologne was stronger than my cologne, though. So it's like you walk in, and it's like the 2 cologne scents just combined, and his cologne was winning because it was whooping my ass. My chest was like on fire. So he drops me off. I go there. We hanging out. I see her. She looks beautiful. All that stuff. About as beautiful as, it's a dead person. But then at 7, we go get concaving. And then I'm thinking he's going to take me back to my hotel, but I got to hang out with him. And then I got to do sporadics with Chris and blah, blah, blah. But we come back, and it's 7 p.m. is Ivy's Beyond the Wall. Ivy Beyond the Wall. So what the AKAs do, like that's their tradition to let a sister. So now I know, hopefully this is like 40 years from now, when my mother passes, I know what to do now. I know what to expect. These motherfuckers came in deep. They tell you it starts at 7 p.m. Not 7:01, not 6:59. It starts at 7:01. So things happen. People show up late. It's traffic, Miami. You don't know where you're at. Everybody's visiting. On God, they went and they circled. They were in the whitest of white outfits, not tan, not beige, not dingy white, pristine white, whitest of white. And they surrounded the whole funeral home. Lady comes in, 7:02. She tries to open the door. She walks, she slides in. On God, 2 AKAs post her ass up. Wow. They just go, boom, boom. And they can't let her in. And then she's like, and then this little short, dark-skinned AKA, which is the dark, like the AKAs are like the stereotype is that they're light-skinned.
Oh, okay.
I only know, most of the AKAs I know are dark-skinned. It's like the opposite. Most of the deltas I know are light. The deltas are supposed to be true African sisters, and the AKAs are supposed to be the mixed bougie bitches. But anyways, the dark-skinned lady walks over. Matter of fact, it looks like I know that was Gagi in her prime. Walks over to her, says, "No, we start at 7. You have to leave."
Oh.
I'm like, yo, so I'm with my godbrother. I'm like, yo, this lady really just made this lady leave.
Grown
woman. She told the grown woman to leave. And you know what that grown woman did? She got the fuck out of there.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, yo, these AKAs are crazy. These educated gangs are bananas. Like, if you would have seen this, and I'm tweeting this, and I'm just like, and what's wild is I have never seen something. So it started at 7. You know when it ended? 7:30 to be exact. It was 30 minutes on the dime. It was just crazy. It was so efficient. Everybody talked. They were singing songs. Like, and what was wild about this, the AKA songs that they were singing, people don't die every day. They ain't been online in a minute. They only be online for a little bit. No, everybody knew the school song.
Damn.
And it wasn't just one. It was like 3 songs. And like, I mean, to use one of their phrases, it was a serious matter. Because that's what, if you remember when your sister, like, that shit was fucking annoying when your sister was, but I know all the I thought I knew all the songs because they fucking basically pledged in my house. But they just, man, they was getting, I mean, they was, and when they boxed that lady out, I said, it was really good technique. Like, she could have easily got like a rebound. Like, I mean, she got low and all that stuff. So anyways, that's what I was doing on Monday, Tuesday. I came back today, basically got off the plane. Luckily, I made my flight. A lot of flights were getting delayed in and out, but a lot of news has happened since then, and things are going to happen. And before I really get into the crux of it, I literally, like, that's, bro, it just be just like that, man. I still don't understand. Like, they didn't have no sheets of paper. Like, I would need a piece of paper, man. Like, to at least refresh myself on the songs. But whatever. Before we get into the real thing, because again, Florida State is the baddest bitch out, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. Some people have been saying some of the wildest shit with the university in regards to that school down 75. Yeah, you can post that one right there. Nick Del Torre covers the game. She's got a blue check mark. He had a blue check mark before you could buy him. He talks, Damian George says the talent level at Florida and Alabama is the same.
What years is he talking about?
He's talking about like right now. I'm just straight tripping. I don't get the so fresh, so clean thing on mine, but whatever. Let's just marinate on that. So I agree with Damon. I agree with Damon. Florida and Alabama have the exact same talent. So they should have, like, we should be able to look at their schedule and be able to come up with a good assessment of them being able to be bowl eligible. Because Florida fans are mad at Florida State fans for being happy like they haven't been below 500 the last 2 years. And they're like, you guys win 10 games and you act like you know anything else.
Busy trying to be everybody else while everyone else is trying to be us.
That part. But if we go look at just click on what the other one is, the schedule. Like that, my bad. Yeah. So no, that's the top 20. Yeah. We'll click on that. So Florida has the same talent as Alabama, right? So let's just look at who Florida plays. They play in the top preseason top 25 coaches poll. They have Florida playing, based on that, number 14 Utah at Utah. They play number 10 Tennessee at home. They play the number 1 team in the nation, Georgia, in the greatest outdoor cocktail party in Jacksonville. They play at LSU, probably going to be a nighttime game. And they play Florida State at home, though. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry. If you're a Florida fan and you believe that you have the same level of talent as Alabama, you should at worst be 3-2, 4-1 on that stretch. I'm willing to take any and all bets Don't post it in the comments right now because it's going to go away. At me, at BigGameJames_36, and tell me how much money you want to bet. I am willing to take that bet that you will not go 4-1 or 3-2, for that matter, with that stretch of the schedule. Honestly, guys, truth, if we really go and we're being real with ourselves, we'll type in UF football schedule. I think you're going to win 6 games, regular season games. But I'm not going to hold you. 6 games is tough. I believe you're going to beat McNeese State. I will never disrespect you. That matter. I believe you beat Charlotte. I'm not sure you beat Kentucky. I believe you beat Vanderbilt, even though Vanderbilt beat you last year. I don't think you go to South Carolina and beat South Carolina this year. But I'll go as far as to say I'm not sure, right? Arkansas got one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. I'm going to give you Arkansas. I don't think you beat Missouri. Or I'll give you a question. So right now, I don't think you're beating Tennessee. I don't think you're beating Utah. I don't think you're beating Georgia. I don't think you beat LSU. And I don't think you beat Florida State. I think you're defeated in those. So that's 5. You have question marks for Kentucky, South Carolina, and Missouri. And I'm just giving you Arkansas and Vanderbilt. But there's nothing that you've shown me that should make me give you that. But I know for a fact you're not going to. I know you're not. God is not good enough for you to go 2-10.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, on God, I don't know. I would let you guys pick the religion for me for the year. If Florida is to go 2-10.
Mormon.
You can pick. I will go to. I will be the most devout. I will soak like the Mormons. I would be the most devout Mormon you could find. If Florida, I would be like Mormon Jesus made Florida go 2-10. That's my type of God.
What's Dr. Umar?
Dr. Umar is really, I think he practices the religion of Pan-Africanism, just whatever he feels like. Umar's so pro-black that he can't enjoy anything. Like, I don't want to be. That's why when people say like woke, like white people use the word woke now. Actually, let me rephrase. I shouldn't say that. Because I can't say white people, I can't say because it's not all white people. I can't say Republicans because it's not all Republicans. DeSantis, the way Ronnie D uses, and shout out to Ronnie D, getting a little dirt on him. Got a federal indictment. I'm loving it. I want a goon as I might vote for you now. I need a little goon in my president. He's definitely. We'll talk about Ronnie in a minute, a little bit later in the show. But Ronnie's woke isn't the same woke as mine. I was woke for a second, but what happens is when you get woke, it's not that you don't disagree with everything. It's just that you're seeing the history. But you know what happens? You get fucking tired. You get tired. Because what are you going to do about it? At the end of the day, the system is bad. But every situation has a bad system.
Right.
The NCAA is a fucking terrible system. But if you don't pimp that system will pimp you. Thus is life. But whatever, man. The only reason I don't think they take some of these teams is because they just have extremely better quarterback play. Tennessee's quarterback is basically Anthony Richardson for this season.
Oh, really?
With a better coach.
Wow.
Kentucky, again, I'm not really sure about Kentucky. Should really, when you go back and watch Kentucky and Florida since 2012, since that coach has been there, since Mark Stoops has been there, like, I think there's only 2 games Mark Stoops should have lost against them in that 10-year tenure. But Missouri's got Jake Garcia, the former 4-star quarterback who signed to the University of Miami. They got a couple really good wide receivers coming back. So it's really their offense. It just depends on what Fat Kirby, Fat Saban, or no, they call him Fat Kirby, and Kirby's chunky too. I really don't like Florida's defensive coordinator, but we'll see. I just know that, again, like I said, God ain't that good. God ain't that good to let me for them. And I'm sorry if is blasphemous for you and you don't want to hang out with me anymore, fuck you. But he ain't that good for Florida to go 2-10. But their schedule's tough. They're talking mad shit. They're talking so much shit that they won't bet you that they'll beat Florida State. They just bet you that they will beat that LSU will beat Florida State. And when you ask them what are the reasons why, they say they got better in recruiting. So did we. They say they got better in the transfer portal, and no, they didn't. And they just say shit.
What about this over under Miami and Florida combined win total 10.5 over under?
Ooh, hold on. Let me because Miami is. It really depends on how the battle of the Miamis go. Because week 1, there's a battle of who's going to be able to genuinely use the Miami name. If Miami of Ohio beats University of Miami, they have to go by the name of University of Coral Gables. Yeah, Miami, Ohio is playing Miami, Florida. I'm going to believe that Miami is going to win. Miami, Florida. I don't think they're beating Texas A&M. So that's one loss. They're going to be Bethune. I don't think they're going to beat North Carolina. I know they're not beating Clemson. They're not beating Florida State. Louisville's my dark horse ACC championship team. Oh, shit. Then it gets questionable because they should have lost to Virginia last year, and they're the worst team. Georgia Tech will be much improved. I do believe they'll beat Boston College. North Carolina State is still coached very well. But I think they'll beat North Carolina. I think they go over 10.5. They're because I think Miami is a 7-win team. Miami can win 7 wins. But their schedule is still easy enough for them to easily 8 or 9. If they get hot. If the dike is better.
Oh,
they still got the dike.
Oh wow.
We just like the dike playing like a bitch though. So like, but if the dike is playing like a stud, then they're gonna be all right. But right now the dike's not playing like the stud that she could be. I mean that he could be. Sorry, I apologize. But what happened while I was gone? And I'm bringing this because everybody's like LSU. I got enough bets out for LSU. A fight, Wilson Alexander reports from August 7th. A fight broke out at LSU practice during 11-on-11s. Punches thrown, guys taken to the ground, multiple players involved. Malik Neighbors, Kyron Lacey got sent to the locker room. Harold Perkins didn't play another snap. Brian Kelly was not happy. Again, Brian Kelly was not happy, wanted coaches to break it up sooner and talk to the players about leadership. We need to remember that we've always got to respect the brotherhood, Savion Jones said about Kelly's message. And then so that happened. Then yesterday's practice, Mike Norvell, Florida State fans were mad because Mike Norvell came out and said it was a really, really bad practice. It was a shitty practice. So people were comparing this fight and saying oh my God, LSU's going to beat us because they're getting fights and Coach Kelly's mad and he's going to do this. And Mike Norvell said we had a bad practice. Let me introduce you people to this thing we call in the industry coach speak. Coach speak is when coaches say shit that they don't mean. I put it like this. Most of the, you didn't even get interrupted. Show of hands in the chat if you're a parent. Anybody a parent? Have kids? You just go in that chat because this also helps the algorithm. We just go put a hand or put something up, show of hands. If you're a parent, we've all got the macaroni art. And your job as a parent is to say, wow, this macaroni, look at my little Picasso. I got this. Blah, blah. This is the greatest thing in the world. I'm going to put it on the refrigerator. When you know, or like when Kai, my son, my youngest, my baby boy, he draws shit. And he's telling me that this is you. And it looks like an alien from, like, it's like got long, still skinny, like my legs ain't skinny like that. And it's got it's got a big head and it's brown and it's got hair But then I don't know what's up with the arms. And I have, that's daddy. That is just that. No, that's dad speak. I don't mean it. Like, what happens is Coach Norville has to say something to fire her up. Because what happens if he says every day that practice is good? And then as a coach, you can't have them fighting every day, but fights happen. What do you know what happens when you think about it like this? You put, again, Django, everything can relate to Django. Just think like you put 100 to 130 young men in the South on a big grass field. It's hot. It's humid. Heat index of 120, probably. Very little water. White men in white t-shirts yelling at you, calling your boy. And you got to go do violent shit. And somebody gets the better of you. They may cheap shot you. You ain't like that. You know what tends to happen? It's not you really wanting to fight the kid. It's the fact that you hot and you just aggravated. Everything, it's so, like down in Miami, it was so hot that you're automatically mad. Like you don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. And now anything, they can say, it could be, it's like when they give you the juice, it's 1,000 juice cups on that table. You reach to go pick up a juice cup. Somebody else reaches to go pick up the juice cup. They get to the juice cup before you get to the juice cup.
Someone got to die.
Somebody got to die. It got to go. It got to go. We got to get down. You just disrespecting me. I've seen an all-out brawl start because Coach Bowden brought ice cream at the end of one of our practices. Actually, you know what? This one, the guy deserved it. The guy it was a strawberry shortcake ice cream. And he had just opened it up and it was hot. It was so hot, you could see the steam from the ice come out. And he was and he was about to hit it, and then the dude came up, boom, and he hit his elbow, and it flew up in the air, and you can see him. And then it dropped and it hit the ground. Mind you, there's 100 more strawberry shortcakes in there. It's already paid for. The ice cream man has made his money. He is the happiest ice cream man ever because we don't just buy little pieces of ice cream. We bought the whole ice cream cart out. But then his happiest moment in his life turned to a nightmare and frightening because after that, it was a brawl of 300-pound individuals. And then one 300-pound individual can't let you hit the other 300-pound individual without him getting into it, and other people got into it. And then you know what happened when we all got into the air conditioning inside? We all forgot about the fight. The task at hand was the task at hand. I'm just saying, like, people if you don't understand the world, you won't understand the world. And, like, you got to fight. If a fight doesn't happen in camp, was it a camp? It's like if a tree falls in the wood and nobody saw it, doesn't make a sound. If a football camp really happen if there weren't at least 2 or 3 fights every day? Shout out to my parents in here. Make sure you parents go jam that like button while we're doing it, while we're here, since it's 46 of y'all. But I'm saying that to say is, don't get caught up so much in these interviews. Let me tell. What do you think that they're going to do? You think they're going to tell you the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so it can be fodder? It's like people who believe that everybody's going to say the full truth about Florida State leaving the ACC, and like Florida State leaving the ACC. Like Greg Sankey is going to say that, and that's the commissioner of the SEC. If you go down to the conference talk, I believe. Okay. And it's the third one is the one I'm going to speak on first. And I respect the fuck out of Matt Hayes, by the way. At Matt Hayes, CFB, great follow, really knows football, really understands it. But Matt said this thing, and I'm like, Matt, you smarter than that, bro. I wrote last week, FSU has no place to go if it leaves the ACC. That in of itself is a terrible sentence by an incredibly smart man. Greg Sankey all but confirmed it today on Feinbaum we're very clear that there's not something out there we should be reaching for. Now, let's just break this down because everybody and their mom, and this is what I tweeted. I know you don't really believe that FSU doesn't have anywhere to go if it leaves the ACC. Then I made a tweet like that after this. Only the haters or dark corners of social media in my old station 1010XL are the only people who believe Florida State is not one of the top 10 national brand. Florida State is one of the most watched. Every time they do the fucking poll about the most recognizable helmet, it's always Florida State. Every time they talk about the most they're about to do a 99 national championship thing. They're about to, I'm going to tell you this much. You know what the ACC is about to do? The ACC is about to do what every man in here has done when they're about to lose a bad bitch that they know they can't get better. They are about to go straight boys to men, singing, doing everything that they can do to try to keep her. And man, I'm sorry, Florida State has played irreplaceable. They just saying to the left. They doing Bobby Bowden tributes on ACC Network. They're doing all this stuff. Like, they ain't never talked about Florida State until we start talking about leaving. It is a toxic relationship we are in with the ACC. We got to say, bitch, we out of here. But, like, bigger than that, Florida State is one of the top public institutions and across the board academically. Like, who wouldn't want Florida State? It's like saying, if Sierra broke up with Russell Wilson, who would date her?
She'd have nowhere to go.
She'd have nowhere to go. It's like saying, no, my bad. No, because Sierra ain't had a hit in a minute. It's like saying Beyonce is going to divorce Jay-Z. Who's going to want Beyonce if she leaves Jay-Z? Every man and mom. This dude's right now. Ladies, listen. That man, watch this with your husband. I'm telling you this. It's a test. I want you to forgive him because we got a little bit of female viewership now. We got over 10%. That's what the statistics are telling. Go to your man and say, baby, if Beyonce and Jay-Z got a divorce, and tell him really don't hold it against him. Would you trade me for Beyonce? If he tells you yes, give him some good. Because he's a very honest and truthful man. If he tells you no, leave him. Because he's a liar. He's a fucking liar. And he's not telling you the truth. People, if Florida State left the ACC, the SEC, the only way they can get Florida State is by sacrificing the team. That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, I can believe that, but I'm not finna do that because Matt's my guy. I'm not gonna. You can read that on the YouTube. I'm not gonna say that for it to go to other places. Vanderbilt will get kicked out. It's like hey, we need you to. Vanderbilt is two ways. They're going to make Vanderbilt an offer they can't refuse. You're either going to leave or you're going to die. That's what they're going to tell him. You wouldn't even need a hall pass. If that one is like this, Idris Elba, right? Idris Elba's a handsome dude. Some of us got to realize, dog, where you at. If she gets that out, it's almost like they were talking about I get it, the Keke Palmer and the Usher thing. But the problem with the Keke Palmer thing is you don't just go out there and just throw the ass out there for him. He over there basketball gripping you and palming your ass. Now if you was dressed and regular and Usher came up and offered you, I get it. You a bad bitch. Go ahead, man. But like you over here dressed like, here, Usher, here's my goodies. Play with them, test them out to see if you would like them, and then we can have our discussion. No real dude, like we know that's what, like Boondocks, R&B sexy flexy ass motherfucker. Like we get it. If that's her thing, everybody has an out clause. Sometimes you just gotta realize, like, hey man, you lost to a better individual. What better individual to lose to than Beyonce? Like that's like real talk. Like ladies, if you came up and say, yeah, I lost James, but it was to Beyonce. Like nobody's gonna hold that against you. they're gonna be like, damn, that's fucked up, man. That's a bad, like in poker, they call that a bad beat. Like you had the hand one.
They should be mad at Beyonce.
Well, it should be like that would be. That's when the real shit comes out, right? See, this is perfect. So this is how they're talking about it. So they know we're the guy that Beyonce wants, and now they're like, why would Beyonce even want him? Him and his dirty, because it's always dirty draws. You always got dirty draws when they want to leave you. It's like they're talking, Florida State ain't won a game in 4 years. They ain't never won that. Well, then, bitch, let me leave. Why are you mad I'm leaving? Like, we so bad, and Chris talked about it right here. It's like, you think Marco Rubio, a Gator, is going to come to the defense of a program that ain't about something? Marco Rubio ain't doing this shit for FIU. You think Marco, no offense, before my black people, you blacks don't get on me. You think Marco Rubio's tweeting out to the NCAA about making sure that one of our guys a Rattler gets an appeal? You think he's doing that for fucking Bethune-Cookman? But what gets worse, because we'll get into that. I believe I got that. Yeah, that's the next step. Don't want to get ahead of myself. But what makes it worse is because, again, we're in a toxic relationship with the ACC. The ACC hasn't done anything. They're now trying to say, come on back, girl. We're going to get that old flame back. We're going to get you right. We're going to do our thing. The ACC says, well, what if we do this? What if we bring Cal and Stanford into the conference? Will that make you happy? We're going to expand now. We're going to expand with two of the worst fucking teams in the Pac-12. When the Pac-12, you didn't go get Oregon. No Washington.
And that doesn't change the money.
It doesn't.
Deal, right?
It doesn't at all. Like, there's no appeal to Stanford or to Cal, like, academically, though. But what I'm saying, this ain't, we know. It doesn't help us academically like going to the Big Ten, but it will. And then Notre Dame, now we find out Notre Dame, who's the side bitch of the ACC, who don't play no football games, keeps all her money, is a full fucking voting member of the ACC. And they're voting. Like, they vote matters just as much as ours. It's like, baby, why you keep cheating on me? Baby, I love you. I love you, but you know, I was just fucking them girls. I'm gonna get right back. And then you find out that the same Birkin bag he gave Notre Dame. Imagine, see, this is when people cross the line. It's like, again, biblically, cheating is biblical. David is the only man in the Bible named as a man after God's own heart. He had 5 wives and 3 concubines. But I promise you,
he's the worst to me.
Like David was,
man,
again,
a hard time.
Only God. The Bible is a wild book.
Believe it's just tough.
If people really read this book,
David's a jerk, kind of. Like,
David's a jerk. Solomon's over here saying like he's the wisest man in the world. The only way you could decide who's the mom is to saw a kid in half.
Yeah,
like, it's probably another way we could. But we'll get into that another day. My point is that David didn't. It was one bad. It was one bottom bitch that was the one that controlled everything. Somebody got to have some authority. They ain't mad that you stepping out. They mad that you stepping out and that person got the same equal rights, equal share as what you got. Like, come on, man, you got to have something. Save something for the main. You treating us and you weren't like. This was why I just can't. I can't fathom it. And so somebody put the same reasons that FSU is trying to leave the same reasons the ACC thinks Stanford and Cal are good additions to the ACC are the same reason Florida State and Clemson are trying to leave. It's only I've come to the conclusion that there's only one real way that this relationship works, and we know that's not going to happen.
I don't know what this means, but if you think we consider the DJ decision,
we're gonna get into that next. Daryl Jackson, but that has nothing to do with the ACC as much as it has to do with. Well, actually, it gets to the NCAA, ACC after it gets to the NCAA. But the only way we'll do this is unequal revenue distribution. And when I read something out there that was put out there, Florida State, if they did it based upon TV, and this is why I always laugh when people are like, "What have y'all done?" And I'm trying to find it. I can't see it, but Florida State would get $61 million. They would be the top share, and Clemson would get like 58, if I remember correctly. If anybody has that tweet, if y'all put that link in the comments, we'll click on that. But it's just they basically went down, and then like Duke would get like $10 million, which is right. Like, if you care, then invest. But the problem is that some people don't care and they don't invest. But moving forward, the DJ situation is Daryl Jackson. Daryl Jackson is a young man who's from Gadsden County, Florida. Signed to the University of Maryland. Decided to transfer last year to the University of Miami. So he burned his free transfer. Mother got sick. Decides that he wants to transfer to Florida State University. Transfers in right before, like transfers in without knowing that a new rule was like looming. He transfers in, enrolls, and then then the NCAA, like maybe a few weeks later, changes the rules to make them a little bit tougher, right? And the reason why they made it tougher is because people were kind of just manipulating the rule. In the rule, it basically said that you have to go up in front of basically a sounding board, but you have to sit out a year if you transfer again. But there's an appeals committee that you get to go in front of if you I'm trying to butcher it. If you have a situation that's like what his mom has.
Okay.
His mom has cancer, I believe. Now, I will say this, and I don't think I'll say this for context, and I don't think this situation helped, but it still doesn't matter because he did not leave. When we had Joshua Farmer, his friend that he went to school with, that was thinking about transferring out. That's actually this right here. That was thinking about transferring out. And they put this on 247, so this is why I'm reading this. And he didn't transfer out, but he basically said, "That's my brother. Wherever my brother goes, I'm going to ride with him." He didn't say he was leaving. He just said he's going to ride with his brother. But people can interpret it as he was all ready to leave before he even got settled in good at Florida State.
Mm.
So the NCAA set a rule that basically you have to go through a hardship window, and they claim here's what the actual thing, the Traver waiver guidelines. The council voted unanimously to update guidelines for waiver process for undergraduate student athletes who are transferring for a second time. Each waiver request will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis, but moving forward, student athletes must meet one of the following criteria to be granted a waiver to compete immediately. A, demonstrated physical injury, illness, or mental health condition that necessitated that the student transferred. Supporting documentation, care plans, and proximity of students. Listen, check this. Proximity of student support system will be considered. Exigent circumstances that clearly necessitate a student athlete's immediate departure from the previous school. Physical assault or abuse, sexual assault, unrelated to the student athlete's athletics participation. Now, they wouldn't consider any other guidelines, but basically, mama dying, and I want to come back closer to home, to my support system. The NCAA, to quote one of my favorite movies, the NCAA assholes decided. But what makes this wilder, right? Most of the times, we sit back and we be like, man, these white people wilding, right? You know who sits on the board that directly looks at these things? It's a black man. A black man by the name of Stan Wilcox. If you're trying to figure out why does that matter, Stan Wilcox was the former athletic director of Florida State University. Like, Stan Wilcox sitting up there and is still doing his best to fuck the university. Like, this is what, but it's not just, to Stan's defense, it's not just Florida State that he's fucking over. He's fucking over North Carolina too. North Carolina has a wide receiver who just got listed as a potential Biletnikoff winner.
Oh, wow.
He was denied immediately eligibility because of a two-time transfer rule. And my man Andrew Carter put, this is the stuff the NCAA decides to try to get tough on while an entire college sports industry is burning to the ground. His statement, the first and main reason I decided to transfer from Kent State was the stress and anxiety I was feeling being away from home, while my grandmother deals with health issues. She is my rock, my everything, and I wouldn't be where I am today without her. She took care of me when I was younger, and being away from her and the rest of my family was very challenging and hard to deal with. It's meant the world to us to be in the same area, where she's just a short drive away, and I have far more opportunities to be with her. There's also the added bonus that she would be able to see me play college football for the first time. Ain't nothing. My grandmother's first time ever watching me play, I scored a touchdown. It was so dope. It was her first ever live football game too. The whole experience has been extremely difficult with my family. The next day, on and on. They're going to appeal the waiver process. But I think his was even more egregious because, like, he never stepped foot, like, on a campus, the first campus.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Or, like, something happened where they didn't honor the scholarship or some shit was wild. And he went to Kent State, and then he's trying to transfer from there. He did what he's supposed to do. But here's what's wild, right? Mission statements. Anybody who has a business, though, your mission statement is what literally drives you, why you do what you do, is what your mission statement is. Provide a world-class athletics and academic experience for student athletes that fosters lifelong well-being, while holding against you wanting to be close to your grandmother and wanting to be close to your mom as they're facing difficult situations. What better way to foster student athlete well-being?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's all bullshit. It's word salad. Like, when the person who basically created the modern day NCAA spent every waking moment after he left the NCAA just trying to dismantle it and tell everybody that it was useless. That tells us everything that we need to know about the NCAA. The NCAA has other things that they can enforce that are real issues. But now this is what Marco Rubio went and spoke up against. And I think I have that. I didn't send it to you because it happened. Actually, shout out to Marco actually, like, fucking working. Like, that's not him. Nothing is more important than family. But when Daryl Jackson Jr. decided to transfer to FSU football to be closer to his ailing mother, the NCAA denied his waiver and is going to force him to sit out a year. They need to reconsider this arbitrary and terrible decision. No, he doesn't. It's just a really...
Yeah.
This is what the NCAA said. Now, these guys both transferred well before this date. I just want to put this out there. On January 11th, the Division I Council, which includes voting representative from each D1 conference, voted unanimously to significantly tighten the criteria for undergraduate students who transferred for a second time. On January 11th, that's when they decided to do this. Both of these guys were already in their school and enrolled before January 11th. How can you be judged by rules that weren't even in place when you were at the fucking school?
Damn.
That's what's messed up about this. And there's only one real way to deal with this. Gotta sue them bitches, man.
Ooh.
That's what it was. Thank you, Grant Gray. I appreciate that. I couldn't remember it. They didn't have a fucking season in 2020. So that's why he left. But the reality of the situation is nobody cares about the kids like that.
Yeah.
They talk about caring, but we don't really care about the kids like that. We know we don't care about the kids like that. Michael Jackson made a really, really good song. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. And that's just the truth of it. But again, moving forward, I think they will appeal it. Here's a wild and crazy thing in today's climate. It would make me want to. Well, my son wants to play for Mike Norville anyway. Shout out to Trey. We're gonna get a chance to see Mike and him tomorrow. Everything in me, if it wasn't a year that I think we could make the playoffs, says fuck it. Play his ass. All they're gonna do is they're gonna make you vacate the wins. But if you win, you know what they're not gonna do? You know what's not connected to the NCAA? The college football playoff. So in theory, you could go undefeated, play in the college football playoff, and just say fuck the NCAA. And maybe forfeit those games, but who knows? I don't know. I don't necessarily know if they want to do that or not, but coaches say they care about the player. That would be something that's going over the top. But I also believe, like I said, there's coach speak. Coach speak is lies, but it's not like lies. Like some of the lies, it's like I don't really know how to lie is a bad word. I remember my mom used to say, "Don't you say you can't." I couldn't say an adult lie. You get spanking.
What? You couldn't.
You can say they're telling a story. Lie is a strong word, but the coaches lie. I'm sorry. Even the great Bobby Bowden lie. I love that man to death, but some stuff you just be like, all right, it's just coach speak. You just telling me what I want to hear. Here is one of the biggest lies. Dave Clawson, really good coach, Wake Forest. And I want you to play what Dave said, Miles, real quick. And then we're going to listen to this and we're going to really just digest what David said. Because what he said makes sense if you like it, but it really doesn't make sense at the same time. It's coach's lie. Oh, we got to get the video up there. There we go. What is David talking about?
People want to talk about what we lost. I mean, we had 6 to 8 players, Andy, that were offered between $150,000 and $500,000 by other schools, and all those guys chose to stay.
So what he's insinuating is that with guys like Daryl, not saying Daryl Jackson did or whatever, but he's insinuating that people came at his players and said, "We're going to pay you $150,000 to $500,000 to leave Wake Forest to come." And play for us. So there's 2 ways you can take this. And I'm not going to speak on it in full detail, but there was a guy who insinuated that Florida State is cheating and paying young men things. And he says he's got bank statements. He's got everything to prove it. To which I say, prove it. You really got all this proof. You know numbers. A kid told you that somebody said they're going to pay him from another university said they're going to pay you $150,000 to $500,000 to come there. But he decided to stay. Wouldn't the noble thing be to go? Show him? Let's present this to let's go present this to the NCAA. Show me where the bad man touched you. Come on, man. No, you're a coach. You're being holier than thou. Let's go turn in the big bad coaches that are out here corrupting our young men to get $150,000 to $500,000. One thing I can tell you with full certainty is that there is only 2 players at Wake Forest that's worth between that number. One of the motherfuckers is at Notre Dame right now. That's your quarterback. The other one is a wide receiver who's hurt and won't even be able to play for 6 weeks. Lie to your pastor, Dave. Don't lie to me. You're over here saying shit like this. But what this tells me, if I'm a Wake Forest fan and Dave says these things, actually, you know what? I can't speak for a Wake Forest fan, but I can tell you this. If I saw Mike Norvell take the stand and say some shit like this and say, well, 6 to 8 of our players left, and I know for a fact that somebody offered them $150,000 and our guys were noble. Why the fuck ain't you offering? Why either we snitching and why aren't we playing by the same rules that everybody else is playing? Or I know you're full of shit because if you truly, you're not going to turn them in, because if you turn them in, what is you doing? You trying to cover yourself up.
Didn't Alabama's coach do something similar?
Alabama,
no, snitched on him.
No, the University of Alabama, Birmingham, UAB coach Trent Dilfer said that. Well, I tell him, I tell him if a kid comes in my inbox trying to get one of our kids, I'm gonna call their ass out. Like right after Nick Saban just took your safety, I'm gonna call their after Nick Saban.
Yeah, that's what.
Fuck out of here, man. Like it bothers me because, like, okay. People cheat, right? Let's say they are cheating. Fuck you doing? I mean, you know people are cheating and you're not cheating? You're playing by the rules? You know what? That makes you a fucking fool. Or you're just talking and you can't prove anything. Because there's only a couple rules. Like the NCAA, that shit only has a couple rules, and a couple of the rules is you cannot tamper. But $150,000 for what Wake Forest player? $150,000. Chuck E. Cheese.
150 days buses.
What's the Chinese currency?
Yen?
No, yen is Japanese currency, I think. No, yeah, Japanese is yen.
Yeah, I don't know Chinese. North Korean money. $150,000 my ass for 3 starters undeveloped. Not saying anything because they beat us, but I'm just saying, like, come on, bro, let's be beef. If you're gonna be anything, I'm gonna use my bag because sisters, can I use this? Yeah, not call me sassy because this is one of them women say, if you're gonna be anything, be for real. They be fucking for real, man. Don't nobody want your players like that. $150,000. You know how much American? Yeah, that kid's gone.
Like
That kid's gone.
$500,000.
Them kids is gone. They don't expect to go to the NFL.
My teammate Drew Weatherford had one of the realest sayings on the other day. He's his politician. Drew got that true, like that again. I don't look like your standard Republican. The Drew looks like when you look up Republican in the book, like that's what the motherfucker looks like. Huh? No, Drew, your dad's, if he's Republican, it's because he's Spanish. That's what
he looks Republican.
Yeah, he looks, you know what I'm saying? Drew looks like Republican. Like when you open the book and you say, hey, draw me a Republican. Drew Weatherford looks like that. But Drew said one of the coldest lines. He's like, man, Juan.
Okay.
He said, I knew I wanted to play at Florida State when Bobby Bowden came and talked to my church. I committed to Florida State when I was a junior. I actively recruited people to Florida State. If somebody offered me $1 million, I would not have been to Florida. I would not have been in Florida State. And I'm telling you, I've said that before we even knew it in NIL. I said, Trey Coleman, if Florida State offers my son, he's going to Florida State. More than likely. Both of them. Unless somebody comes in with a huge NIL deal and we're going to get that money, man. I played at fucking Florida State. They didn't. We're like, yeah, we're in this world only in not the 1%. Only in. I'm sorry, this is descriptive because most black people don't live in this fantasy because we don't see these kind of numbers. Only in white people's mind is honor that strong. Even though there is nothing in your life that proves honor is that strong. People are selling pussy on the internet. What for $40? What makes you think a 17-year-old is going, or a 20-year-old is going to turn down $150,000 to $500,000 to stay in Winston-Salem, fucking North Carolina? There is absolutely nothing in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Besides, like, it's right around the corner from Durham, and they got the Durham Bulls. That's the only thing that's there. There's a Marriott that's decent, and there's an airport. Actually, it's not even their airport. It's RDU, Riley Durham, whatever the U stands for, airport. It's not even anything really nice. I don't know what again. Like I said, man. FSU 2942 asks, "What's your outlook with recruiting nonsense I've been hearing and seeing that deals with KJ?" If you're hearing, and one, I'm gonna tell you this: state of Florida is still illegal to corrupt a minor, not a minor, it is corrupt a minor, which would deal in paying like for stuff like this. So if somebody actually knew that information, the police did an investigation, they would have to turn over the information that they have, which means to tell me that nobody really knows that has that fucking information. 9 times out of 10, the people that talk about, oh, I know for a fact this person got it, this person or that person got a bag, know absolutely nothing. Perfect example. Mother can attest for this. My mother, who actually has really, really good credit, just not a lot of money, went and bought, did not like her son walking from the Burt to the more athletic, to not more auditorium. What is the name? Where do we do our not the more. Damn, what did we do our Tully Gym? Did not like me walking to Tully Gym at 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure that I was on time for mat drills. So she went and bought herself a 2003 Honda Accord. People said that, oh, Florida State bought her that. One, I can promise you without a shadow of a doubt, that's not the car my mother would have went and had Florida State buy for her. But two, Florida State didn't give my mama a blood nickel. Like nothing. Like for the only thing Florida State gave her was every year she got a tax return, a tax statement, and let them know exactly how much money was spent on my scholarship. That's how I know the scholarship breaks down. Very little of it goes to us. It goes to paying for the charter planes. It goes to paying for a lot of other shit that I never really saw. But it was kind of cool. I gotta ask my mom if she still has one of those copies. But moving forward, I didn't want to. What time is that? Say on that?
1:12.
Okay, so we're over. Everybody keeps asking about Jared Verse, man. Y'all relax. And we talked about Ron DeSantis. I was going to talk about Tim Anderson, but he got his ass knocked out. Go watch the video. It's very, very funny. This man got 2 women, and now he's probably lost all control in his household. One of the last things I want to do is get knocked to sleep on national TV in front of my kids. But if you go to Ayo, actually, now we can watch this. It's actually pretty funny. I meant to talk about it on Sunday, but it got away from me. The show got long, just like this one. Because in the last couple of things, I'm not going to talk much, but he's right here, and it's a wild swing. It wasn't even like Tim looked like he could probably throw some paws. He could probably squabble a little bit, but he got a glass jaw. It happens.
Yeah, he just got caught.
He got caught clean.
Like, oh, he can't. I was like, I don't know.
No, he got caught clean. Like I think if they did another one, he probably would get better circumstances. I'm trying to figure out why they fought though.
Yeah, I don't care about baseball enough, but
he pointed at his face. But this is here's Tim's problem. You got to be the aggressor in these situations, and you can't miss. Now it was just a wild haymaker.
He wasn't even
caught
looking.
him on the chin, and then I don't think this one shows the worst of it. I don't know what made him so mad, but it's another clip that was a part of that was really the embarrassing part because he tried to get up quick.
Oh,
and then he stumbled, and his friends had to pick him up. Like you know how you have a wild night at the club with too much to drink.
2-step.
Yeah.
And another.
Now, here's my thing, my Ayo moment, and before anybody really, I want context. I hate the way history is taught in America in general. I think a lot of you guys are full of shit when you say that you're worried about your children being indoctrinated by stuff.
I've been telling you.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because one, you need to be raising your kids. You need to be talking to them more. And this is why you need to be educating your kids. My kids will learn about history from me. If this is the bullshit that they teach them anyway, which is kind of already similar to what they're teaching them anyway, I gotta let them know. But some of this is just really, really, oh, he got hit in the nuts.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Like click on, not that one, click on the other cartoon. Now, one, they talk about homosexuality and they talk about a lot of different things in cartoons. Now, this is Prager University, which is approved to teach historical stuff to kids in the state of Florida. Now, Miles, do you think this do you think this Door to Explorer looking motherfucker was written for you?
I mean, he's written for Hitler's dreams. Look at these blue eyes.
But I'm just saying, like that guy right there, we can say that that's not for adults.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No, come here, Kai. Come here, Kai. Let me see. You see that cartoon? Do you think you want to watch that cartoon, son?
Yeah.
Okay, let's watch the cartoon. Tell me what I want you to know what you think about this cartoon. Oh, your hair's wet. Okay, push play.
Slavery is as old as time and has taken place in every corner of the world, even amongst the people I just left. Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? Before you judge, you must ask yourself, what did the culture and society of the time treat as no big deal?
Propaganda.
Slavery is as
Did you
old
say
as time
propaganda?
and has taken place in every corner of the world.
Say it again.
Even
That was
amongst
actually
the
kind
people I
of.
just left.
There we go.
Being taken
That's
as a
actually
slave
good.
is
All
better
right,
than
bro,
being
you gotta go. But even the kid knew that there's something like he doesn't know. He just knows something's not right about that. But that was written for him. That wasn't written for me. That wasn't written for you. That is clearly an attack for. That is clearly meant for kids.
That is wild.
And this guy said slavery wasn't that bad. To his defense, they do teach slavery in school, like it was like a bad week at summer camp, or if it was Florida State's going through their prepubescent years. I don't really care about people going over the top and learning a lot, but let's just not say that. That is, I'm pretty sure. Again, even the movies that make it look cool, like Django, it was pretty fucked up. Like the stuff that they cut dudes' balls off for disobeying. They fed people to dogs. Is it better to be alive than to die every day? That's not even the most egregious thing. One of my favorite Negroes to ever walk this planet is Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, I don't know if anybody realized this. Frederick Douglass is what Kanye ended up rapping about. When he get on, he asked for a white girl. He started with a black wife, got three black, he had black children with that black woman. That black woman died. He married a white woman to finish his days. This is a man who called Abraham Lincoln basically a bitch because he didn't go further. He didn't go far enough. And the only reason he came to get black people was because they were getting their asses kicked in the war. And that's why he had to do something. He said you've lost your cotton picking mind to Abe Lincoln when he said we're going to free you, but we're going to take you and we're going to move you. We're going to pay for you to move to Panama. That was the original plan.
Whoa!
Though they don't teach us shit in history.
That would have been relatives.
Right. Not a couple black people. They wanted to take all the black people in the United States and just drop us off somewhere else. They were like, yo, we're going to pay for it. $600,000. Give me a second, Kyler. That is working. All right, Charlie's an hour. Cool.
All right, we'll get it later.
But Frederick Douglass is a badass motherfucker. Bottom line, what does PragerU make of
What does PragerU make of Frederick Douglass, the cartoon? What are they teaching our little children about Frederick Douglass?
Children, our founding fathers knew that slavery was evil and wrong, and they knew that it would do terrible harm to the nation. They wanted it to end, but their first priority was getting all 13 colonies to unite as one.
The founding fathers did not want to end slavery. They just called it a peculiar institution. They knew, anyway, my bad, go ahead. And that ain't how Frederick Douglass was. Frederick Douglass would not be saying this shit.
Country. The southern colonies were dependent on slave labor, and they wouldn't have joined a union that had banned it.
Are you okay with that?
I'm certainly not okay with slavery, but the founding fathers made a compromise to achieve something great, the making of the United States. It was America that began the conversation to end it. But Leo is correct that big problems need to be approached very carefully. Have you kids heard of William Lloyd Garrison?
No. Nope.
He's an abolitionist like me, and he and I used to be friends, but we aren't any longer. We don't agree how to solve problems. William refuses all compromises, demands immediate change, and if he doesn't get what he wants, he likes to set things on fire.
Sounds familiar.
Sounds like you know the type.
Yeah, we've got that type in our time.
So, you're trying to work for change inside of the American system.
Precisely, Layla.
All right.
Our system is
all right, we gotta
wonderful.
stop this one. Because right now, that's so wild that I feel like this gotta be fake, right? I got pumped.
Yeah, that's just like a South Park thing.
That was gotta be fake, right? But anyways, though, I'm not saying any of this to. I don't care what like I said, James Coleman's Republican. Don't care what you are. Don't care what you think. I just care that you think. The reality is, the situation is, fuck all of that. Fuck what was actually just said. Go look up who. It's like if you came up and said, James Coleman said, like if somebody made James Coleman, like some 100 years ago, and said, "Hi, this is Big Game James talking about the school, the Big Three." Big Game James says, "Hi, kids. The University of Florida is actually a pretty good academic institution, and they play really good football. And those guys down there in the University of Miami, by golly, sometimes they're some of my best friends."
They won't even give him a fro.
And so, he had a mean fro with the white streak too.
Yeah,
it's like they could have just got some random black. I would have preferred a random black person.
Yeah.
Like not that black person. Like now we got kids thinking Frederick Douglass was out here just like, well, William Lloyd Garrison wants us all the way. Wants us is all the way free. He doesn't even want to compromise. I'm like, even me, Frederick Douglass, a former slave, is like, hey, just let 3 of us out, and then let us out the rest. No, it's just not how this works, man. Like, but again, my point isn't even to argue this. My point is that people said that we're worried about our children being indoctrinated and having an agenda pushed on them, excuse me. That is contrary to what we believe and a lot of these other different things. What I'm saying is that is clearly an agenda. That is clearly contrary to what a lot of us believe. And that is clearly targeted to children. Like,
here we go. Okay.
better now. But anyways, all that being said, I appreciate you guys chopping it up. We had another really big show. I'm not doing all fucking night shows, so I need all of you guys. We will probably do one night show, 1 or 2. I just thought about it. It's football season. We'll do some different shows during night. But I need y'all to remember this. Sometime between 9:30 and 10 o'clock Friday, we're doing this show. Big Games BS will be live at Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. Smoking a good cigar, talking about whatever else happens. Probably somebody else is going to bitch about Florida State. Somebody's going to say we're this. Somebody's going to say this. But please, make sure. Okay, the dad guy getting shadow banned. But make sure y'all, please, before you exit, please make sure you go jam the like button. If you would, go comment on this later on. Make sure you go share this with somebody. Last show did numbers that I can't believe. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, again, memberships. We have a $3.99 all the way up to $99.99. The all-in membership gets you to live life like me. You get to go to practices I go to, sideline passes, free tailgates, free things. Super Bowl comes up, you get to kick it with me at the Super Bowl. Everything that I do, you get to do. But once we get to 3,000 subscribers, we will be giving away 2 tickets to the FSU LSU game. During the season, we'll be giving away tickets to games. We'll be giving away all kinds of different stuff during the season. Make sure you, again, go like this show. Go look at some past shows. Check out our shorts, our short clips. They're pretty funny sometimes. You know, or they're going to make you mad. I don't really know. Miles does a really good job of making me seem like an asshole. But on that note, appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me, and we will see you guys next time.